There is a place that is spoken about only in whispers, a dark area that spawns the beginnings of urban legends, a place where anything can happen and usually does. During the light of day, it hides just outside of view, but when the sun goes down, spirits, creatures of the night, roam free, and things do go bump in the night. It is in every state and every country, and there is no escaping it, no matter how safe you feel behind your locked doors and latched windows. So we invite you to turn down the lights and turn up your radio while we join Dave Schrader and Tim Dennis, your hosts, on a journey into the darkness on the edge of town.
Hello and welcome. It's a brand new week and you're tuned into the best in paranormal talk radio. This is Beyond the Darkness and I'm your host Dave Schrader, along with me, Tim Dennis. Hey Tim, how are you?
I'm alive.
That's good. We've missed you. We've missed you around here for the last couple of weeks. I'm glad that you're able to pop in and spend a little time with us tonight and do some supernatural news. Why don't you give people just a real quick summation? I mean, I've been asking for prayers and healing for you on the show, and we've posted on some of our social media, but just so they know, you're not dying of some incurable disease or anything. I just want them to be aware of what you are dealing with.
Well, and actually, I've been working through it since February, but it's been kind of a weird thing where in February I had surgery to flatten out Charcot-foot, and you can go Google it and you can figure out what it is for yourself. It's spelled much like charcoal, but take out the AL and put in a T at the end. And essentially, I had a surgery to flatten out my foot because I had a rocker bottom foot. Well, when they went to take out the stitches, they took them out too early. And I kept telling them my feet don't heal that quickly. Now, before you all send me emails and concerns about, it's because you're not watching your diet and blah, 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 my sugars have been absolutely normal since January. So it's not that. It's just that my feet don't heal very quickly. So they took the stitches out. And I stayed off my feet. I was a good boy. I did everything they asked me to do. Well, when they took the stitches out, it didn't look like anything was normal. In fact, I said, should you be doing that? And they said, well, we can't leave them in. Otherwise, you'll develop an infection. They said, you just need to continue to stay off your feet. Well, I did, but the foot fell apart. And I kept getting weeping out of the foot, drainage and whatnot. And when I went to and you may hear a gurgling or a percolating in the background every once in a while. That's my wound vac, by the way. So if you hear that, don't be distracted. I'm not making coffee in the background. I'm not addicted to caffeine.
Lovely story, Dennis.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you Dennis because that's how everybody emails me about you. How's Dennis doing? Yeah. Tim's doing great. I don't know who Dennis is, but Tim's doing great.
I have no idea who that is either. So when I went to a very skilled, and I still see him, orthopedic podiatrist by the name of Dr. Corfield, and he said, well, let's take a look at the actual wound itself. And it was really sick, Dave. When he went to go poke a little probe into the incision, he went in 3 centimeters. And then he started going around in it and went, oh, my God. And he had this look on his face and discovered a 3-centimeter deep pocket behind the incision. So essentially, not only did the wound dehisce, but I have a huge space where I can store stuff in my foot. So
you can keep your weed in there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I do now. And it's really great when I go through airports. Note to TSA, I don't keep anything in there. So long story longer, they're using this wound vac to try and close the hole in my foot. Fast forward to now, the last week or two have been kind of touchy because I have home health nurses who come in a couple of times a week to change the dressing and the packing, and they weren't following the doctor's orders and to pack the wound completely. And a false floor was developing inside the wound, and it was getting bad. It was getting to the point where infection could have started to build up in the wound, and the doctor was getting quite, to his credit, getting quite pissed off and yelling at the nursing staff to do it right. And he was about to pull me off this nursing staff because, me, I like to chase nurses. So It's a little joke there.
I've seen you move. You're not chasing anybody.
Well, I have 4 wheels now, and I fly. So then with that, they got their stuff together and they started packing the wound correctly. And as everything started, all the icky stuff started coming out of there, they realized that there was some exposed bone at the end of the wound. Now, that's not a good thing. If there's exposed bone in a diabetic wound, and it doesn't cover itself back up and it gets infected, they take your limb. Not a good thing. So if it would have gone another week, they would have suggested a second surgery to have my surgeon go back in and pretty much sew my foot back together again. And again, my feet heal slow, people, so it would have been a bad thing. It would have set me back about a half year to a year. The good news is I've been staying off of it, and I've been taking vitamin C and protein, and I've been doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, and my sugars have been normal. And so with the wound vac and everything being done properly, I grew enough tissue over the past week to get it back to where it needed to be so I can continue wound vac therapy and not have surgery. So it's just slow going. There's been enough healing now where I've grown probably about 1.33 inches of new tissue in there. So I've still got, I think it's like 1.67 centimeters of depth yet to fill. So, but that's only happened over the last couple of weeks. So,
well, we're glad that it's healing up and you're getting better. And I know it's been tough because you haven't been real mobile, and it looks like you're going to have this week off from the show, but I'm glad we're able to hook up doing this today. We'll have Tim back in studio as soon as we possibly can. Let's get started. We have a lot of supernatural news to cover because we've been off. We didn't do supernatural news last week in observation of Memorial Day, but we're back. Let's dip into it. Where are we going to start today?
Well, Dave, since we're talking about meat, you have this whole, I know, you have this whole zombie thing going on. As long as I'm being morbid about stuff, let's talk about zombie bats.
Zombie what?
Zombie bats, Dave.
Zombie bats.
I'm going to turn it on.
Hellish new nightmare. Okay.
Well, you said vampire bats, and the story says vampire bats. I'm giving it a whole twist. I'm giving into your theory just for the story of zombie bats. How's that?
That this may be how the disease starts spreading?
This is it. Okay. This is the beginning of your zombie apocalypse.
Wow. I like that you are officially announcing this is the beginning. Let's hear the story.
Well, I'm not, but I'll give into it for this story. A man has died and 40 others have been bitten after vampire bats attacked humans in Brazil, folks. It's begun. A man has died and more than 40 people are being treated for possible rabies exposure in northeast Brazil after vampire bats started to feed off of humans. Yeah, don't go to Brazil. It's not fun. No, I mean, they have their waxes and their beaches, but they now have vampire bats.
God, I'm out. The outdoors is continually trying to murder us.
Well, it is. It's not a good place. I don't know if people know that or not. Victims report waking to find their bed sheets soaked in blood, and the outbreak is the largest wave of attacks ever recorded in the region. The death is the first recorded case of human rabies transmitted by a bat in Brazil since 2004. So the good news is, Dave, this only happens every 12, 13, 14 years. Yeah,
Yeah, that's, you know what? That's about 12, 13, 14 years too often for me.
It really is, yeah. One of the victims, Matthias Andrade, who lives in the historic center of the city, says, I was bitten 3 times. So I want you to soak this in for a moment. Not once.
Right.
Not twice.
Right.
3 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Once bitten, twice shy, 3 times you're just stupid. Time to move.
Yeah. 3 times you just got to get up and move to a different spot. He said, when I woke up in the morning, I found the bed was wet. And first of all, you want to say I probably want to stop drinking too much, at the night before. Then he said it had been raining overnight, and I thought water had dripped in.
Oh, that's a good explanation. Sure, if you sleep in a thatched hut, right? Gilligan and Skipper.
Yeah. He said, but it was my blood. It was such a shock. Yeah. He said the wound was.
I got to be with him on that, because if I wake up and there's a puddle of blood under my sheets, I might be in a whole new place, Tim, mentally and physically. If I wake up to a puddle of blood under me, no bueno. Yeah. No bueno.
I believe it or not, it wouldn't shock me.
Oof.
Yeah. Not initial.
he wakes up to a puddle of blood.
Mm-hmm. He said the wound was tiny but deep. The blood was dark and thick, and the area wouldn't stop bleeding even when I tried to wash it off. Now, for a normal person, you would go, oh, my God, that's terrible. For us diabetics who have wounds quite often, we go, oh, hey, it's Thursday. It's this wouldn't probably alarm me right away. However, May 27th, this was a Saturday, disease control teams from... Is it Bahia? I am not Brazilian, by the way. So,
you're not?
Okay.
I'm confused
I'm not.
by your white pallor and
right.
Minnesotan accent that you're not Brazilian. That's surprising.
And the fact that I stay indoors all the time.
Yes.
Bahia state authorities were out in force calling vampire bats by catching and applying a venom paste to their body in a bid to control the rising numbers. How would you like to have that job? Like, you're in Brazil, you're looking for a job, and you're like, oh, I need to do something with my life.
You're asking the wrong guy, Tim. At this point, I'd take any job.
and you're like, you know what, the whole radio thing ain't paying well.
No,
maybe,
it's not.
maybe, and then, is this where we put in the True Crime Tuesday plug? And then you're like, you got to do something to make some money. Hey, I think I'll catch some vampire bats and apply venom paste to their body.
Sign me up.
Sounds like
a fun summer weekend. Yeah.
I put on there myself.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. According to CSAB, which is the actual governmental agency doing this, Edvalson Francisco Souza, a 46-year-old who died, was milking a cow on a farm in Paramiriam when he accidentally stepped on a rabies-carrying bat that bit his foot. How would you like to have that luck?
What the hell?
Mm-hmm. Just going out to milk the cows. I'll be right back, honey.
No.
No.
Right, no. Yeah.
Bam. You're done.
And then they're biting your feet, rabid bastards.
Yep. And who milks their cows barefoot anyways? That's what I want to know.
Brazil.
It is, yeah. The farmer dismissed the incident, washed the wound, but failed to see a doctor. That, folks, is why healthcare is so important. 3 weeks later, after being hospitalized for 7 days, suffering from headaches, nausea, severe anxiety, and shortness of breath, Edvalson, remembered the incident. Oh, yeah, by the way, I seem to remember stepping on a bat. He tested positive for rabies, but it was too late for doctors to administer the vaccine, and he passed away shortly afterwards in March of this year.
No.
No. Yeah. CSAB immediately issued a public health alert warning of the risks of contracting rabies and ways to stay vigilant. Within days of the fatality, residents living in the capital city of Salvador, some 400 miles from Paramiriam, reported a flurry of attacks by the bloodthirsty creatures that appear to have added human blood to their menu. They have quite the palate, Dave. There's this isn't the only thing on their menu. There's Big Macs. I don't know if you know this, but vampire bats love them, and they're partial to Twinkies as well.
A vampire bat, Tim.
You are, yeah. Over the last 3 months, dozens of frightened locals have told of being terrorized by the flying mammals at night. Many have woken up to the distressing sight of their bed sheets soaked with blood after the winged animals sunk their fangs into their toes, heels, and elbows. Toes, heels, elbows, knees, and toes, knees, and
like that, yeah.
Toes, yeah. Vampire bats, or the common bat, are small nocturnal creatures with a wingspan of about 8 inches. They only live in the Americas and feed solely on blood, puncturing the skin of their prey with sharp incisors. So they're cute little fellas. Araldo Carnero, who heads the rabies surveillance unit, that's a job as well.
I'll take it.
Said, we have detected shifts in bat behavior and a worrying increase in the population in the area. We believe this is due to deforestation and the destruction of caves, which forces the bats to migrate to the cities. The city center does not have the normal source of food for hematophagus beings.
Wasn't he the best friend of Big Bird?
He was.
Yeah,
I should watch it more often. I miss him. I really do.
Bird.
Hematophagus beings, those are beings that feed on blood, Dave, such as horses and cattle. They love to go after those first, evidently. They have a very sensitive palate. The vampire bats must find an alternative to live, so they bite dogs and cats, and when these aren't available, of course, they're looking at you and I. Mm-hmm. He stressed that bat attacks on humans are rare in Salvador, but cited destruction of the nocturnal mammal's natural habitat and large numbers of abandoned properties in the city center as factors contributing to the outbreak.
And thus begins the zombie apocalypse.
Yep.
Oh, freaky. All right, what have you got for us next? Oh, you know what? You brought up a good point in that last segment. Let me make sure to mention, join us tomorrow for True Crime Tuesday, Consumed, Almost the Perfect Murder, as featured on Dateline NBC. We will talk with Deanna Clough tomorrow. It was a crime so sensational that it captivated the local community and caught the attention of Dateline NBC. Keith Griffith was a revered community leader and a benevolent citizen. He was a church-going Christian, a doting grandpa, and a devoted husband of 36 years to his childhood sweetheart, Julie. But no one knew about the lies, the double life, and the across-state line girlfriend. We'll talk to that girlfriend tomorrow and hear a very chilling story. Plus, Mark Anthony joins me, the attorney. We'll talk some aspects of this case. We'll also do some dumb crimes, stupid criminals. And he is, Tim, a Florida attorney. So we get to hear some firsthand accounts of Florida man's best stupidity in action. As an attorney in Florida, he's going to tell us some of his favorite cases that were just so stupid he has a hard time believing he was a part of it. So that's on True Crime Tuesday tomorrow. If you want to sign up, it's only $5 a month. But that's $5 a month, Dave. I know that's only $1.25 per episode, though. Less than a cup of coffee. You can get a great deal. You get 4 episodes a month, brand new, 90-minute to 120-minute long episodes. And on those rare months where there is a 5th Tuesday, we're going to give them an extra episode, Tim. No extra cost.
What?
It's the way I work. I'm a giver. I'm a bit of a giver. So you can sign up right now by going to darknessradio.com. Click on the True Crime Tuesday banner and then subscribe. You'll see the link right there. Subscribe and never miss a minute in the best in true crime talk radio. And that goes a long way to help your buddies survive. As we've told you, radio is not a get-rich scheme. We do this out of our love, and we would really love to be able to afford to pay bills. So if you go do that, the lion's portion of it goes to pay all the administrative costs for production, editing, and booking guests, getting everything handled for True Crime Tuesday. So a little bit goes to both Tim and I. We'd really appreciate it. We're trying to get up to 2,500 people at least to start this thing rolling. We're up over 800. We want you to be a part of it. So if you like true crime, only $5 a month. You can't even buy a beer for $5 now at a bar, Tim.
That's
so
right.
Think about it. Just put one beer away at the bar this week. Subscribe and get the best in True Crime Talk Radio. Go to darknessradio.com, click on that True Crime Tuesday banner, and subscribe now. Where are we going next in the world of supernatural news, Mr. Dennis?
Well, Dave, we go from hungry vampire bats to suicidal Swiss cows.
Wow. Wasn't that a band in the 80s?
It was. I have all their albums. God, they were so good.
First Avenue is proud to prevent suicidal Swiss cows.
And we all should prevent suicidal Swiss cows.
Yes, we should. Why are these cows suicidal?
Well, it turns out that Swiss farmers are baffled. They're absolutely baffled, Dave, as a herd of cows have leapt to their death from a cliff. But guess what, Dave? The number 13 is always lucky, and the 13th cow survived.
Well, sure. He fell on all the carcasses of the 12 dead ones that went before him.
Yeah, and you know what he yelled as he went over the side?
Geronimo?
That too, and Cowabunga.
Oh, Cowabunga. Come on, Geronimo was pretty good off the top of my head.
That was very good.
Thank you.
Only one of 13 cows which fell off the cliff near the Swiss village of Levron survived. Aww. You think it was like that scene from Empire Strikes Back where the farmer came by and said, "I am your father," and all the cows jumped over the edge?
Yeah, it could be.
That might have
I was going to say, wait a minute, I don't remember that scene in Empire Strikes Back where there were suicidal Swiss cows, But I get the correlation now, yes.
Yeah. Farmers in a picturesque Swiss village are baffled after a herd of cows jumped off a cliff en masse to their deaths. The 13 cows broke out of their pen near the Valais village of Levron, ran towards the cliff edge, and either fell or threw themselves off the 50-meter drop. Wow, they went 50 meters. Yeah. You would have put skis on them, they could have made the Swiss Olympic team. I'm just saying.
Somewhere off to the side was Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy going, hey, you guys, you can jump this moon. I know it. I got the feeling. Go for it. And he's just laughing his ass off as these stupid cows are humping it over the side of this cliff.
I would have.
Look, Mom, I'm flying. That's it. Wow. Suicidal cows. That's some bad milk right there, son.
That is, yeah. 12 of the mostly, I believe these are herons, are the brand of cow herd died in the fall, with the lucky 13th thought to, I got to hit the read more button. There we go. Thought to have survived only because it landed on the other cows.
Right.
So he was kind of the crowd surfing cow.
Nice.
It was taken to an animal hospital in Bern to be treated for a broken jaw. Evidently, it landed jaw first. You got to put the hooves out there, when you're about to land.
Do you think he landed on his buddies? He's like, hey, I made it, guys. Hey, guys. We did it, guys.
Crash helmet. That's the one thing he was missing. Crash helmet. While the other animals were transported to a disposal facility, I would have just right there made the hamburger. I'm just saying, right there, you just get your cuts of meat. You got the 12 laid out.
Yeah, just start the barbecue right there.
That's right. You just invite the neighbors over.
Yeah.
Good eating. The cows broke through several lines of wire around the pasture before finding themselves on the ridge. They fell into the void as if they had been driven back. Norbert Taratz, the president of a farming insurance company in the region, told the local paper La Nouviste, or La Nouvaiste, or something like that.
Sure. La Nouvaiste.
La Nouvaiste, yeah, they're sure, In total, the cows were thought to be worth about 20,000 Swiss francs, or 16,000 pounds, $20,500, Dave. I know you're thinking, how am I doing the conversion in my head right now?
How are you doing the conversion in your head right now?
It's all in the story. The herd belonged to several owners, but were all grazing on land owned by a local couple. The couple blamed the incident last Wednesday night on some kind of predator who spooked the animals. It was probably a horny farmer. Cows wandering at high altitudes is a common sight across much of the Alps, where farmers allow them to graze on green pastures surrounding villages.
The hills are alive with the sound of suicidal Swiss cows. Benoit
Bergeron, a member of a local breeders association, and by far the most creative name I'll say today, said he was baffled as to why all the cows plunged to their deaths at the same time. They must have been blocked somehow, he said. 1 or 2 cows falling off, sure, that's possible. 13? That's a new and incomprehensible phenomena, he went on to say. It is unlikely that they threw themselves off without pressure. Ooh, they were pressured into it, Dave.
Come on, everybody else is doing it. All right,
come on,
I'll go. Not me, I'm going to be last.
Taratz agreed that the incident was unusual. Cows don't follow each other like sheep. They're not sheep.
No, they're cows.
They are. When they're scared, they have a tendency to disperse. They scatter like roaches with the light on. He gave 2 plausible explanations: that a dog was let loose in the area by its owner, or that wolves recently spotted in a neighboring valley had come across the herd.
Or there's no evidence. Aliens. Definitely aliens.
Why not chupacabra? Why does everybody just throw chupacabra to the side? Not that he said
chupacabra.
Why is it that he's so dismissible?
Because it's El Chupacabra. I don't think they have Spanish chupacabra in Switzerland.
They don't have Mexican food there?
Well, they might, but I don't know that they have Mexican monsters. Unless he was on, vacation. Was Chupacabra on holiday with his family?
Chuppy is there with the family. Yeah, he's looking for a little local fare, a little local something to eat. Comes across 13 cows.
Why not? Push him off a mountain. Everybody's eating tonight.
There was no Swiss Miss available, so he had a little Swiss beef.
Good God.
Huh?
What a violent encounter.
Just saying. There's no evidence that the cow suffered any claw or bite marks. However, 4 yaks who were grazing nearby were also unharmed, in case you were worried about the yaks.
The yaks were laughing about it.
They were.
Stupid cows.
We're calling for more information, according to Tarat's, appealing for any witnesses to come forward, especially those who might be still chewing.
Oh.
Just saying. It's not the first time the cows have been mysteriously killed while falling off a cliff edge in Switzerland, believe it or not. Dave, in 2009, 28 cows and bulls were found in a crumpled heap at the bottom of a mountainside after plunging hundreds of meters to their deaths. Those were the extreme cows, by the way.
Obviously.
Yeah. So there you go. That's
Reverend Jim Jones cows over there.
That's who that was.
Hey,
that's the name of that tune.
Let me mention a couple of the shows coming up this week. Inside UFOs, True Accounts of Contact. Preston Dennett will be visiting with us. It's been a couple of years since Preston's been here. And tomorrow, Occult Paris, the lost magic of the Belle Epoque. We're going to talk about the occult and what it really means, the magical practices, and some of the people involved. It's a fascinating story and a really great history, so I hope people will check that out on the show. Then a little later on this week, Stephen Music. He has a very interesting book out, Life After Heaven. So we're going to hear a true story of a man's supernatural encounter when he died and what led him to this point and what has happened since. And this is a really inspirational story. I think you'd get a lot out of it as well, Tim. So I hope you'll give it a listen while you're editing and putting it together. Joyce Keller joins us again this week. 7 Steps to Heaven. She's written that. She's also talking about bridging the gap, communicating with the other side. What does that mean? What is it like before, during, and after death? We'll find out about that with Joyce Keller this week. And then, I'm trying to remember at the end of the week who we have for Friday. My mind is blank, Tim. You know what? I think it is. I think it might be Preston Dennett. That is our Friday show. So that's what's going on this week on the Best in Paranormal Talk Radio. We're starting off with a little supernatural news. We've got a lot of stories to catch up on, so we'll continue doing that, and then if we have time, we'll get in some Parashare. If not, we'll definitely be back to full steam next week. What's our next story, Tim?
Demon roommates, Dave.
Had a couple of those in college, yeah.
Yeah, that'll happen. A YouTube star has shared a chilling photo in which it reveals a ghost standing behind her while she was home alone and claims that it attacked her with a fork. Now, you may be saying to yourself, that's happened to me with a few roommates. Sure. Yeah, I could buy that. A blogger has shared what she believes was a chilling paranormal encounter in her own flat after a ghostly figure appeared behind her in a selfie while she was home alone. YouTube star Vanessa Martinez claims that the image, which features a shadow in the background as if a figure is peering from behind her bedroom door, is completely legitimate. I was home alone. I was by myself, Ms. Martinez says, before she shares the image at approximately 8 minutes and 20 seconds into the video. This picture I'm showing you is untouched. It has pimples and all in it. Pimples and all.
What?
Yeah.
So you mean even in afterlife, I'm going to be faced with acne?
Maybe.
Son of a biscuit.
Yeah.
Shut the front door.
I know.
Right.
She said that her friend found the image extremely chilling, and this reaction confirmed to her that the ghost may be real. I know I'm not crazy because I showed that photo to my friend, and they just said, "Don't show me that ever again." They were that traumatized, Dave.
Well, I guess so. That's quite a way to say it.
Yeah. And Ms. Martinez, who is originally from Clovis, New Mexico, claims that the spooky photo was just one of the recent ghostly encounters that she's had at home. Flying forks and smashing cups are some of the other happenings which have led her to declare that a demon has taken up residence at her home.
Isn't that the band Billy Corrigan is the lead singer for?
Yes, Smashing Cups. Yeah. It's different incarnations throughout the years.
Oh, is it?
It's never been the most popular lineup was in the 90s, but yeah. She also said that the lights have flickered in her home and that a painting fell from her wall. Although a painting fell from her wall, Dave. I mean, you realize how serious that is as far as on the demonic scale. That's terrible.
You're right.
Yeah. Although not questioned on her do-it-yourself skills or when she last changed her light bulbs, the YouTube star is convinced that they are due to her paranormal roommate. The 20-year-old shared her ghoulish tales on her YouTube channel. It's called Simply Nessa, if you're looking for it, which has more than 1.8 million subscribers. She also said that she sometimes wakes up in the morning with bruises on her arm as she was being grabbed in her sleep. She said that a cup of orange juice also went flying. A cup of orange juice, Dave. That's valuable vitamin C.
Don't cry over spilt orange juice, Tim.
Well, it's half of a screwdriver, Dave. I'm gonna cry. And her arm was scratched by a flying fork in her kitchen. Her arm was scratched, Dave.
By a flying fork, Tim. That's dangerous.
It is.
You don't want to get forked to death by a ghost.
That's right. Next, right. It's a hurling spoon.
I don't believe that would ever occur.
Yeah. The blogger eventually moved out of that apartment. She said that people were performing satanic rituals in her building, which is adding to the paranormal activity. Although her new apartment seems better.
Wait a minute. We call upon thee, Forktosis, the evil underlord of forks, to come forward and tantalize and terrorize our neighbor. I didn't know there was a fork-flinging demon that you could call upon. I
guess there is, yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
It's better than
every day.
See, there's a hierarchy, Dave. The fork flinging one is pretty high on the hierarchy. It starts with napkin dabbing. So if you have a little something in the corner of your mouth,
a napkin dabbing demon.
Yeah, he'll come over and he'll kind of take care of it for you.
You have a unique mind, Tim. Terrifying and unique, all at the same time.
And then there's the plate setting one. That's the next one.
See, those don't sound so dangerous, but when you get up to fork flinging, that's when now you're talking. Now you're in it. Now you're in deep with the fork flinger. Exactly. Although her new apartment seems better, she said that paranormal presence has still followed her, Dave. It went from one place to the other. It's something that I've been dealing with all my life. It ruins friendships and relationships. It's something that does affect my life, she went on to say. So, yeah, there you go. All right. What have you got next for us?
Let's see. Where do we head to next? Let me try and close out of that deal there. Let's move forward and continue. Let's talk about UFOs for a second, with an S in it, because that's how I spell. It's the Anoka-Hennepin School District way. We'll go to the UK, where disclosure is all the talk. We keep hearing about how this president, that president, this government, that government is going to go forward with disclosure. The UK is now the latest target of disclosure. And the UK government supposedly, according to this article, is going to release all secret British UFO sighting files after the election next month. Now, it has announced that it will be releasing previously things in the United Kingdom once the general election is over this June, according to.
Wait, no, you're going to have to start this over. I'm sorry, your audio just started dropping like crazy. So there's going to be some disclosure. Where is this going to take place?
Yeah, supposedly in Britain, after the election this June, the general election in the United Kingdom.
It's funny. It's like whoever, some dark shadow government is cutting you out, because every time you go to say who, you begin cutting out. Let's do this. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get back into supernatural news, see if we can clean up this line and figure out what's going on. Unless, of course, the men in black are banging on Tim's door and steal him away in this next segment. Hold tight. We've got more coming your way here on Beyond the Darkness.
Beyond the Darkness.
All right, we're back. It's time to do some more supernatural news. Tim, where will we go next?
We're going to try it again, Dave. We're going to Britain.
I forgot about that. We were in Britain finding out about disclosure.
That's
and then the men in black were trying to kill you.
Right. They gave me the anal probe first, which I appreciate, because it's been a while. Right.
Okay,
and so after that, and after we had a brief smoke and a little awkward conversation, we decided to talk about disclosure.
Nice.
And it turns out that the latest rumor is that after the United Kingdom general election this June, that the UK is just going to come out and put it all out there. And this is according to, now, bear with me, folks, this is the name of the news blog. It's Grenwissenschaft Aktuell. I don't know that I can repeat that again. So, you got it the first time.
Venetian Lagflangschluel.
Exactly.
Yes. I think I've heard of that.
Grandwissenschaft Aktuell.
Okay. You did it twice. Nice job.
I did. A news blog on frontier science and the paranormal that received the exclusive story, again, allegedly. The government is expected to release formally unpublished reports on UFO activity collected over the span of 50 years by the British Ministry of Defense. The event has been greatly anticipated, especially since the announcement in 2014, when the Ministry of Defense admitted to holding back 18 documents because some content needed to be re-examined before the organization could officially make it accessible to the public. This came as a surprise at the time, as the MOD had just stated that in 2013 it released all of its information on UFO sightings via the National Archives and under the Freedom of Information Act. Which we all know, according to this article, I'm just saying allegedly so I don't have another Men in Black visit, was a lie.
What?
That's what they say here.
Right. Well, it was. They disclosed a lot that's come out from a bunch of these foreign countries, but when you look at them, there's really nothing groundbreaking.
Nothing dangerous.
Right.
Yeah,
there's nothing groundbreaking in any of this.
As explained in the Grenzwissenschaft Aktuell article, 3 times. A handful of the UFO documents are filed under the title UFO Policy and are dated from 1971 through 76 and 1996 through 2000. 3 more files are dated June through December 2000, December through March 2004, and March 2004. Lastly, the MOD stated that some of the files include subjects like air traffic control, low-flying UFOs, and ADGE UFO reports. Others are predicting that some of the files will be in relation to the Rendlesham Forest incident, Britain's most famous UFO sighting in 1980, located at the military RAF bases Bentwaters and Woodbridge. The United States Air Force was stationed in Suffolk, England, when a Mystery Triangle craft landed and was seen up close by Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt and at least one other witness. Ufologist Nick Pope is famous for reopening the then buried case in 1994, and ever since, the Rendlesham UFO case has remained another frustrating, unexplained UFO file. It says Lord Admiral Hill Norton, former Chief of Defense Staff, 5-star Admiral of the Royal Navy and Chairman of the NATO Military Committee, has explained in a quote, "It seems to me that the Bentwaters incident is a classic case where an apparent intrusion into our airspace and indeed a landing in our country was witnessed by serious-minded people in the military, responsible people doing a responsible job, and Bentwaters is, in a sense, a benchmark of how not to deal with these matters in the future. I know a good bit about the Bentwaters incident, and there are only 2 explanations for what happened that night in Suffolk. The first is what the people concerned claim is that something from outside the Earth's atmosphere landed at their Air Force base. They went and stood by it. They inspected it. They photographed it. The following day, they took tests on the ground where it had been and found radioactive traces. They reported this and sent it to our Ministry of Defense. Norton is one of several hundred and more than 1,000 worldwide military witnesses who came forward to testify to the reality of extraterrestrial visitation. He later went on to say, quote, "There are objects in our atmosphere which are technically miles in advance of anything we can deploy, that we have no means of stopping them coming here, and that there is a serious possibility that we are being visited, and we have been visited for many years by people from outer space, from other civilizations. That it behooves us, in case some of these people in the future or now should turn hostile, to find out who they are, where they come from, and what they want. This should be the subject of rigorous scientific investigation and not the subject of rubbishing by tabloid newspapers." Oh, is he talking about us?
No, we're not a newspaper, Tim.
Oh, good. Okay.
No.
Despite the numerous sightings, the UK Ministry of Defense described the incident at Bentwaters as having no defense significance, and it just goes on to kind of let's just say editorialize a little bit. It says, let's hope that the documents from the UK actually get published this time. The Ministry of Defense announced that it would release these same files in 2015. Then it got pushed to 2016 and then extended to summer of 2016 and now March 2017 and now June. The current delay is apparently the result of the general election, but either way, it's clear that there is a serious lack of transparency. So there you go.
All right. What have you got for us next?
Let's see here.
I mean, I'm excited about that last story. I've been hearing for so long about disclosure, and nothing ever seems to occur. It's really hard for me to wrap my head around.
It can be, yeah. You know, it's another one of those stories where they say, oh, we're going to have disclosure finally. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen in another country. And although some countries have come out and they've released limited documents to kind of give you a taste, I don't think we'll ever get the full Monty, so to speak.
Right. Your audio is starting to dip out on me again, Tim. I don't know if something changed with your microphone, but suddenly you sound a little sparkly and far away.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot more muffled, but go ahead and we'll hear the next story.
Oh, all right. Well, I was going to talk about UFOs again. Is that maybe why?
I don't know. It could be. Apparently, move your microphone for me real quick just to see if you can pick up a magical reconnect or something.
All right, there, I moved it. Is it any better?
No, it is not.
Well,
go ahead. We'll go on with the next story, and hopefully the Men in Black will not appear and take you away again.
Okay. Well, we go to another sighting of light circling above a hill at a UFO hotspot caught on camera and baffling skywatchers. The resident who took the video believes that this streak of light could be one such UFO. It's a bizarre moment where a strange light circling above a hill was caught on camera at a UFO hotspot. The video shows a streak of light circling over Clay Hill near, I believe it's from in Corsley, Somerset. By all means, if you're overseas in England, be sure to just address me at tim@darknessradio.com and tell me how bad my pronunciation of all these cities actually is. Located at the edge of the Longleat Estate. I'm not
even sure he's saying real words at this point.
in Warminster, Clay Hill has long been thought of as a hotspot for UFOs. The resident who took the video believes this streak of light could be one such UFO, although he's a little skeptical, and by gosh, it's healthy to be skeptical. He said, I took this video from my house in Frome last night. It was over the Clay Hill area, I think, which is also a hotspot for UFOs. Probably a drone with a fancy flame effect tail or something. It's been spotted a few times locally. For more than 40 years, this lofty hilltop has been a meeting place for UFO spotters, all drawn by talk of lights, flying objects, and what have been described as other unidentifiable oddities. That's a hard group of words to get out.
Hard group of words to hear, yeah.
Nigel Vile, a local rambler as he's being described, regularly goes on walks around the area. Why? Because he's a local rambler.
He's a rambling man.
Speaking of the hill, he said, some experts have gone as far as to describe the nearby town of Warminster as Britain's UFO capital on account of a phenomena first encountered in the mid-1960s that began known as the Warminster thing. I don't know if you've ever had the Warminster thing before, Dave, but
my stomach's been peptating all day. I think I've got a bad case of the Warminster thing right now.
Yeah, you just might. It might be a little bit of Pepto. That's all it takes to get rid of that. Strange noises were heard in the... Yep, that's it. That's the Warminster thing. In the skies above town, and an equally strange shimmering light was observed in the vicinity. It's just not in Warminster that these UFOs are spotted, however. There are many towns around from that have similar experiences. Nigel said more recently a report in the local press recorded the experiences of a number of people who have witnessed the UFO in the skies in June of 2001. A slow-moving bright light was spotted at Semmington, which was buzzed by an aircraft. Later, a number of people in Trowbridge saw an object comprised of three lights in a triangular formation heading west towards Warminster. He added, as one critic noted, however, considering the proximity of the military training area on Salisbury Plain, was it not more likely that the UFOs people have been seeing during the past 50 years or so are more attributable to military activity rather than visits by alien life forms? Oh, that's a good question.
It is a good question. I would have thought of that.
Clay Hill can be found just off of the A36 heading towards Longleat, or Longleat, however you pronounce that. You can, again, email me. It is more than 800 feet in length, or height, not length, and is surrounded by relatively flat agricultural land. At the top of the hill are the remains of a Bronze Age hill fort that encloses 2 round barrows, and there you be.
All right. Well, it's interesting. I mean, a lot of activity taking place in the skies lately, but there's so much weird political strife around the planet. Doesn't it make you wonder when that's going on and all of a sudden there are all of these things being seen in the sky, if there's something more human going on, Tim?
Where are you leading me here, Dave?
I'm just wondering if our military's really calling out some heavy-duty experimental craft right now because of how the heated sense around the world. Are we getting prepped, Tim? I don't know.
Oh,
that's kind of in your vein with the conspiracy and believing that the UFOs are most likely, military machinations. I don't know.
There has been, and I know we're not a political show or anything, but it seems like there's been more movement worldwide as far as, you've had more terrorist attacks lately. You've had more world movement as far as military movements throughout the world, and you never know. I mean, it could be something where there is more experimental craft being tried out, and military's machinations moving again, or the machinations starting to move a little bit more. I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't put it past it. Not at all.
All right. Let's get back into the world of the paranormal then. What else have you got for me?
The question is being asked on the 70th anniversary of Roswell. Is it a UFO mecca, a new sighting in town, preparing for the alien crash's 70th anniversary? A new UFO sighting in the alien mecca, Roswell, is being investigated as the remote U.S. town gears up to mark that anniversary in 1947. In a report to MUFON, the unnamed mother of this particular person, let me go backwards here. The MUFON, the world's biggest organization dedicated to alien and UFO research, is investigating a report from a mother about a bizarre sighting in the New Mexico town. And in that report, the unnamed mother said she was driving with her son at around 9 p.m. She wrote, "Out of the corner of my eye, I saw a stationary white and red light, bigger than a star, appear, but I did not pay attention to it right away. It was off in the horizon. I could see it easily through my vehicle windshield, and then a few seconds later, another light appeared on the left to the first, and that's when I looked directly at them." She went on to say that after a few more seconds, the first light disappeared, and then a third appeared on the left of the second. The mom then said after about 5 seconds more, the lights vanished, but reappeared in a different location and did the same sequence again.
I need a flow chart. I need a whiteboard and a flow chart to follow this story. Holy cow, there's a lot of action going on.
There is, yeah. She said, "I don't know what these lights were. At the same time, I was trying to rationalize them out, but they didn't seem like any kind of aircraft I'd ever seen."
You don't know what they were? Of course you do. They're aliens.
Well,
they're cow meat eating, ass implanting, probing aliens. What more do you need, woman? Good God.
I love the adjective of ass implanting. It's very Stone Cold Steve Austin of me. At the same time, I was trying to rationalize them out, but they didn't seem like any kind of aircraft I'd ever seen. She went on to say, "I even thought maybe they were fireworks, but I didn't hear any sound, and there was not a trail or explosion. I pulled over and stayed parked on the side of the road for another 5 minutes or so, hoping to see them again. Me and my son were excited, and we were really hoping to see some more. I was hoping to be able to record them so I could show someone what I saw, but they didn't come back when we were parked there." The case, which happened on April 13th, is being investigated locally by MUFON investigators. Roswell has been at the heart of the UFO scene since July of 1947. The military sensationally announced in that press release that we all know about. It had found the remains of a crashed flying saucer in the desert nearby, but the following day it retracted the statement, saying that it was in fact a damaged U.S. Air Force air balloon. Witnesses later came forward to say that there had been alien bodies within the crashed craft, which along with the wreckage were taken to the mysterious top-secret Area 51 military base in Nevada. It has gone on to become the biggest UFO conspiracy theory on record. The MUFON database holds around 50 alleged UFO sightings connected to Roswell.
So maybe it is a bit of a mecca.
It may be, and it may be that we had a brand new sighting.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I caught pictures over Roswell. At night, I was taking some photographs, and I had some funky filter on my phone. And I know you're thinking, the filter added something. No, it wasn't that, but it allowed me to shoot night sky. And I caught some really weird anomalies in the sky where we couldn't see it with our bare eyes. Our naked eyes? Our uncovered eyes?
I'll take Naked Eyes. Naked Eyes was a great 80s band. Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, let's go. Do we have another UFO story? Or
we do. We have one more alien story here, although it's a top scientist who's revealing that he believes that extraterrestrials existed on Earth before humans. Aliens could have been living on Earth long before humans. That's according to a top space scientist. Professor Jason Wright could have the answer as the hunt for extraterrestrials in our solar system continues. He believes technological aliens roamed several planets, including ancient Earth. The Pennsylvania State professor concluded that if aliens did exist before humans, they could have left undiscovered evidence beneath the surface of Mars or in orbit in other solar systems. His paper, entitled Prior Indigenous Technological Species, just nice and simple, Dave. Keep it simple when you're titling these papers. Explores the possibility.
Isn't that Pitts? What is it? Prior?
It is Pitts,
Intelligence.
Prior Indigenous Technological Species.
Yeah,
Pitts.
the Pitts, yeah. Aliens are the Pitts, aren't they?
They really are. Explores the possibility of pre-existing life in space, and he believes that Earth would have been the most likely planet for aliens to call home. Professor Wright wrote, try that 10 times. Professor Wright wrote, ancient Venus would have had a much thinner atmosphere when the sun was significantly fainter and the surface may have been habitable.
So they thought it was a thicker Venus at one point?
Yeah, and, Venus always had it going on, but she was a little bit thicker back in the day, you know what I'm saying?
Donk.
After Earth, it is thus also perhaps the most likely host for a prior indigenous technological species. Next, the icy moons and even the asteroids make obvious sites where an intelligent species may have arisen. His work comes as NASA begins to identify the landing spots on Mars for the 2022 Red Planet mission. The space agency is evaluating 3 areas it believes are the most likely to contain evidence of aliens. Professor Wright said finding techno-signatures on Mars could be the key to proving aliens existed before humans. He wrote prior indigenous technological species, or the PITs, may have existed in the solar system.
I believe that. That makes sense to me.
It would, yeah. It's putting two and two together and getting 4.
But I also believe the children are our future. Treat them well and let them lead the way, Tim. And
hey, wait a minute.
That's proving not to be right either. So
that's Whitney Houston.
Who's Whitney Houston?
Well, what you just quoted.
No, she's dead, Tim.
Well, I mean, she said it when she was alive.
She said what? That the aliens were on Earth first?
No! The children were our future.
She thought the same thing?
She did, yeah.
That is weird.
Whitney was kind of a
free
prophet.
Thinker, yeah.
Crack
is whack. That is a bit of a prophecy.
Yeah, she was a prophet that way. Mm-hmm. The prophet Whitney way. I'm going to get crucified for that one. Given the signatures humanity's technologically, because that's how I now pronounce it, has already imprinted on our future geological record, we might expect such a prior species on Earth to have made a similar impact. Mm-hmm. It also may be that such species that arose on Earth or Venus have left no trace that we can ever discover in, what is that word? Situ? In S-I-T-U? What is that word?
I don't know.
No, that's how we're ending the story, however. Mm-hmm. Let's lighten it up from all the alien stuff, shall we? Let's go straight to an old-fashioned haunting.
Oh, I've been wondering where those are. What's going on?
Yeah. Well, it turns out that a family has been through hell, just plain old-fashioned hell, Dave.
Fort-flinging demons? Fort-flinging demons are attacking a family now?
It might have been a step or two higher.
Uh-oh.
And when they went through this hell, Dave, who do you think they called? Do you think they went to the clergy? Do you think they went to an experienced person, maybe another family who's been through this previously?
The way you're reading that, I'm going to guess no.
No?
I'm going to guess that they went to Mako or Pep Boys and didn't get the answers they were seeking either. Where did they go?
Well, Dave, they went to the place you would go to if you were suffering through 18 layers of hell, Dave. They went to a paranormal TV show for answers.
Oh, yeah. That's the first place. I should have thought of that. Sorry.
Right. The Eberharts say their year-long nightmare made their family physically and emotionally sick. Maybe it was just the TV show.
Could have been.
No, I'm kidding. How would you feel if your family suffered physical and emotional illness, including severe stress, sleeplessness, miscarriage, exhaustion, depression, confused memory, and unconsciousness?
Sounds like an average day in the Schrader household, Tim. I don't know.
It pretty much is. Maybe you need a paranormal TV show at your house, Dave.
It could be.
After being tormented by an invisible presence at your home, well, for Lance Eberhart, it meant living in a nightmarish hellscape of turmoil. That's the name of my new album, by the way, that left his wife considering leaving the area and moving away their children. It's hell, he said, plain old-fashioned hell. The husband and father said of what his family had been experiencing at their home on Northeast 144th Street in Kearney. Sure, I'm giving the address, and sure,
nice.
You may think that that's bad, but hey, there's a home open.
It's part of the article.
My family is absolutely terrified. I'm terrified, he went on to say.
I'm terrified, and all I'm doing is hearing you read about it.
Well, I'm terrified, too, and I'm reading it. What occurred, you may ask? Well, Lance, wife Jennifer, and daughters Chloe, Emmy, and Heidi, the L and an E, live on 15 acres of farm ground that, like many other properties in the area, have possible historical ties to the Civil War era. Also, like claims made about several other properties, the Eberharts say their property is haunted. Unlike many others, however, the family said the hauntings became sinister in recent history, causing, oh, Dave, there's knives flying here, causing knives to fly across the kitchen, cutting
that is
lamps.
A step up from the old fork flingers.
See?
Yeah, now we've got the knife tossers.
The knife tossers, the fork flingers. Don't forget about the napkin dabbers. They're
not
dangerous.
As terrifying, to be honest.
Hey, if they slip and it goes in your mouth and down your throat, you could choke.
Good Lord.
Just think about it.
I don't want to know what happened in your family that was ever a possibility.
Well, let's just say we got a little hungry towards dinner.
I guess.
Right. Residents, it made residents to feel like they were being choked in their sleep, and matriarch Jennifer to feel like her legs were being slammed into her bed, waking her and leaving her frightened.
Wow.
We've woken up with marks on us, scratches on our necks and our arms, and had bruises we didn't know how they got there, Jennifer said.
Overachievers. Boy, these people are taking the haunting to a new level.
They really are.
Yeah.
Other unhinging incidents include shadowy and lifelike figures being seen in mirrors, in rooms, and throughout the property that vanish. Hearing a disembodied woman's screams, seeing a spoon and kitchen drawer repeatedly move on their own. Yeah, I know that's the most scary thing about it all. And seeing ominous messages such as die, 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 and will kill him scrawled on walls and etched into the back of silverware.
Now,
Again, with the silverware.
What if it's a German ghost and they were just writing the?
Oh, yeah, good point.
Yeah, see, they're automatically assuming that it's the worst case scenario.
You're right.
And all it is a cutlery-loving poltergeist who just
That's true.
wants to write the. That's all. Stop worrying. It's always people jumping in the wrong. See, we should have our own paranormal TV show. We'd have these things figured out in moments.
And the name of that show is probably The Wrong Conclusion.
Hi, and welcome to The Wrong Conclusion with me, Dave Schrader, and him, Tim Dennis.
Hi.
I think it's
a German ghost.
Yes.
Lance went on to say the spoon was found in the yard, Dave. In the yard!
Not the yard.
Mm-hmm. After thinking it belonged to the family, he said he brought it in the house. Then it began to disappear, reappear, and move on its own. One time it was left on the counter, and our spoon was there, too. Their spoon was there, too, Dave. The next morning it was still there, but it was wrapped twice around our spoon. So the spoons were spooning. It was tightly wound.
Yeah,
and
spooning
it's not
leads to forking, so you better be careful.
Yeah. You don't want the kids to see that.
No.
It was tightly wound, and it's not something that you can just bend like that unless you're Kreskin. It was like somebody took it and it was tying a knot, Lance added. There have also been disturbing occurrences while the children have had friends over. Those incidents, such as visitors hearing a woman's panic scream, mean the children stopped getting visitors often. I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh at that, but it's just the kids sitting up there having a little slumber party. A woman starts screaming, and I gotta go. You know, it just that was the thing to stop the slumber party.
That would be it.
Yeah.
Would you have a slumber party at this house, knowing that there's all this activity going on?
Well,
I think that's a little irresponsible on the parents' fault.
It would mean the children are better behaved. So sure, why
I don't know. No, but I guess maybe you bring in some extra kids, so in case the house wants to feed on the souls of the innocents, they'll take the other kids and leave yours alone.
Oh, sure.
Genius.
It also meant the children stopped getting visitors often from those outside the family, which meant less to feed on, as Dave said. Emmy said the incidents were scary and that she told one friend, but not others to fear or for fear of scaring them. So she told the one friend, but others not so much. It is good to know, though, I'm not the only one, she said. There were even incidents, Jennifer said, of her husband being possessed that included him unknowingly in his sleep writing lengthy letters in different handwriting using different vocabulary and speech patterns. So he was bilingual. It really got bad when he was possessed 4 times in one day, she said, and ended up ordering different foods in different languages. No, I made that last part up.
That would have been fascinating.
That would have been cool.
Hello, I would like to order your bratwurst and some sauerkraut. Immediately, mach schnell, mach schnell.
And now I need another spaghetti. The incident
the Pope was part of the story.
Yes, the Pope is part of the story. He eventually comes in and exercises the house.
Nice.
It's a special cameo in the paranormal TV show.
Speaking of the Pope and exercising, he should do like a Pope Lottie's workout video. What do you think?
Pope Lottie's.
Exercising with the Pope. Pope Lottie's.
Brilliant.
I like it.
That's brilliant, yeah. And now for the toe touches, so we're going to bring in the altar boys. No, I'm kidding. The incident made Jennifer flee the home and call police, according to her, when he, again, was possessed 4 times in one day. I just told them, I know it sounds crazy, but my husband is possessed, which sounds like the beginning of a Marx Brothers joke, I know. After owning the property for 9 years, hearing the previous owners never had an issue, and experiencing months of repeated and escalating frequencies of occurrences, especially those terrorizing his younger daughters, ages 12 and 8, Lance said he came to the realization that logic couldn't explain or remedy what was happening, so he sought out paranormal investigators, Dave, to come to the property, and no, it wasn't our show. It was a really helpless feeling when your youngest daughter runs to you for protection and there's nothing you can do, he said.
I agree.
As proof of what the family was describing as happening, a video recording of the spoon moving and hopping into a kitchen drawer that opened on its own, along with other examples, were submitted to what the family thought was the national TV show, The Dead Files. I'll give you a second to marinate on that.
I am.
Mm-hmm. After submitting their evidence, Lance said the family was contacted by a paranormal team that came to the home, but turned out to be unaffiliated with the TV show. They misrepresented themselves completely, Lance said. While the team was in the house filming, Lance and Jennifer said Lance took the team into the basement while Jennifer watched on a monitor upstairs. During the event, Lance, a sizable man, was picked up by an invisible force and thrown against a wall, rendering him briefly unconscious. They came running up the stairs saying it wasn't safe and they needed to get out of there, that it wasn't safe, Jennifer said. I said, you can't just come in here and stir this stuff up and then leave. After that, Lance said the family was able to contact the true Dead Files, which came out in May of last year, filming at the family home and other interview locations in the Kearney area, including Fat Boy's Grill and Bar on Washington Street. It's a nice place to film, evidently.
Right.
In the season 8 opener from May 6th, titled Hell in the Heartland, one of the show's hosts, Steve DeShavi, said the paranormal activity in the home was one of the worst cases he's ever seen. The show's Amy Allen, who claims to have had contact with spirits, said the Eberhards property is unlike others she has seen, calling their front yard a pathway for hundreds of spirits. In the house, Allen said she could see 3 main spirits that are responsible for the family's issues. One, Allen said, is a woman jealous of others who gets the attention from Lance. The spirit, Allen said, can physically assault the living, and it is as if she feeds off the family, draining their brain power and mental state. Another spirit is a tall man wearing a hat, which Lance said he has seen more than once. Allen said she believes the man, a menacing and dangerous figure, was trapped in a room by the previous paranormal team. Oh, sure, blame it on the other paranormal team.
Well,
yeah, when in Rome. While the Dead Files crew was on the family's property, Lance said they were respectful, professional, and took the family's concerns seriously. They were here for 5 days, he said. They did shoot about 80 hours of footage. The reveal itself lasted about 4 hours, but that is only about a 10-minute segment of the show, he said. That was intense. We actually had to take a break because Jennifer had a breakdown. It got really emotional. It was eye-opening, and it was revealing. After the show, to end the family's torment, Lance and Jennifer said Allen wrote copious notes on things that the family needed to do. Actions taken by the family included having the house cleansed by a Reiki master, an expert in the Japanese technique for stress reduction and relaxations, burning frankincense, having everyone in the family wear protective pendants, and cleaning the house, especially all surfaces and windows, with salt water. Since the show, the family says things have gotten dramatically better, with the Hat Man spirit and the jealous woman having gone on, meaning the harmful, terrifying incidents have stopped. All the family's related health issues also have subsided. And while the harmful occurrences have ceased, the family said they still have otherworldly visitors from their pathway property, including a Native American in full war regalia on horseback, not houseback, because that would be weird.
Right. They weren't known to ride houses across the plains.
Although it would be fun to try.
Right.
Other spirits have moved pictures off the walls because they didn't have pictures back in the day, evidently. Now, though, the family, which remains open, upbeat, and optimistic about their experiences, isn't frightened and takes it all in stride. We're a normal house, Lance said. We finally feel like the house is ours. So there you go.
Yeah, and damn it, you can have it. Who wants that kind of shenanigans?
Exactly.
All right. What else have you got?
I got a couple interesting stories to actually I have 3 interesting stories to wrap up tonight.
Okay.
We start off with, let me ask you this, Dave. Some vegans say, I'll never eat anything that has a face, right?
Right.
Okay. So here's your conundrum for the day.
Right.
You're out there fishing.
Uh-huh.
And you catch a fish without a face. I know it's a Billy Idol song.
Fish without a face. I don't remember that song.
Do you eat it?
Billy, I don't know, Tim.
No. The
What?
fish without a face.
Well, the first conundrum is, what am I doing in a boat and outside? That would be the first question I'd have.
Sure.
Second of all, it is, who baited my hook for me? Third, do I catch a fish with no face? Do I eat it?
Yeah.
Probably not. I would definitely try to cash in on it and get on America's Got Talent, showing that I can catch faceless fish. And Simon Cowell would fall in love with me, as would all of America, and you would be a distant memory as I started my new career as a faceless fish fisherman, Tim. I'm sorry, that's just the way I see it playing out.
Wow. The only thing you left out is your new nickname there, Gorton. Wow, you got that scenario down. I mean, that's you pretty much nailed the landing there.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah.
On point.
A mysterious faceless fish I should just probably go on here. A mysterious faceless fish. Say that.
Not
sometime.
a faceless fish. I hate faceless fishes. Yeah.
Has been discovered in a sea, leaving scientists completely baffled. They're confused.
Right.
They're wandering around clueless. The unusual creature was among dozens of new species uncovered.
Neither have I. What is it? That's the clueless sound of scientists talking.
It is, yeah. Huh? It was uncovered during the scientific voyage at depths of 2.5 miles below the surface. So, see, Dave, that's why we don't go deep sea diving. Mm-hmm.
That and many other horrific things underwater that want to eat me.
Oh, and this thing is ugly, too. Although it does look like a gigantic phallic image.
Huh.
I'm not going to lie. Experts use nets, sonar, and deep-sea cameras to study an area from northern Tasmania to central Queensland, dubbed the most unexplored environment on Earth. Probably because flat earthers don't think it exists. They came across the unusual 40-centimeter faceless fish south of Sydney, which has only ever been recorded once before by the pioneering crew of the HMS Challenger off Papua New Guinea in 1873. Interestingly enough, Dr. Tim O'Hara, a chief scientist speaking on board the ship, told The Guardian, this little fish looks amazing because the mouth is actually situated at the bottom of the animal. So when you look side on, you can't see any eyes, you can't see any nose or gills or mouth. It just looks like two near ends on a fish, really.
That's one ugly fish. I ain't going to eat it.
So, yes, its ass end swims first.
Nice.
Think
That's
about
bizarre. All right, so we've got new cryptid creature.
Yep.
Okay.
He said because of the darkness at such huge depths, creatures often have no eyes or produce their own light through bioluminescence. And the scientists also found carnivorous sponges that wield lethal spicules made of silicon, which effectively is glass, which digest small crustaceans hooked on their Velcro-like spines. They also found bright red spiky rock crabs. I think I had those in college. And gigantic sea spiders as big as a dinner plate.
And I had those in college.
Dr. O'Hara added, we've got 27 scientists on board who are leaders in their fields, and they tell me that around one-third of what was found are new species. It's amazing. We're in the middle of nowhere, and still the seafloor has 200 years of rubbish on it, he said. The expedition has been organized by the Museums Victoria and the Australian government's Commonwealth Scientific and Industrial Research Organization.
That's
earlier this month.
Shame. Yeah, that's horrific that there's all that garbage down there. Middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere. Earlier this month, scientists discovered a mysterious sea monster washed up from the depth or deep sea, and there you be.
Did they ever figure out what that be?
I don't think they did.
Since we're talking all piratey. Did they ever figure out what that be, Tim?
I don't think they ever figured out what that be, Dave.
All right.
The last two stories tonight take place down under.
Oh, Australia?
No, Dave, literally down under. We're focused on your genitals, folks.
Why are we focused on my genitals?
Well, not yours in particular, but just your genitals in general.
How is this paranormal?
Well,
this groundbreaking new fringe science we're about to talk about.
No.
It's just weird stories. All right, what have you got for me?
Just low-hanging fruit, Dave. That's
literally.
For this first story, we talk about, I believe this is a makeup artist who wants to remove his genitals to become a genderless alien.
That's going the extra mile for a role.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that it's a role.
There's a lot of method actors out there, and I just think this one, first of all, it's very limiting.
Yeah.
I don't know how many jobs you're going to get with this, but that seems. I mean, you get there's passion involved. You got to dig that.
Right. A makeup artist wants to remove his genitals to achieve his dream of looking like an alien, but plastic surgeons have said it may be impossible. 23-year-old LA-based Vinny O. That's his name, folks. Don't wear it out. He has already spent $60,000 transforming himself into a genderless alien.
What? Well, first of all, how is it impossible? I mean, they've transgendered men into women before. So
he wants to be gone with them.
Well, right, but you remove it, you'll still have I don't know what you call that. I don't know. The mangina. Right? I mean, that'll be a part of you, but I mean, it's not like your dangling participles will be hanging out when you go out as an alien.
I think he wants to be like none.
Like a Barbie? How do you stitch it up? Hot glue gun? Ugh, good God.
No, I think he wants to pee through his mouth. We'll find out here. Let's read the story. Right. However, the surgery he wants next is his most extreme yet, getting his genitals removed entirely. So he is neither male nor female. Entirely, Dave. So let's just
core him out like an apple?
Yep.
Oh, for the love of God.
Yep. He's now being told by plastic surgeons that he may never be able to have the operation, which would be a world first. Renowned plastic surgeon Dr. Simony, who runs a practice in Beverly Hills, said such a procedure is highly controversial since doctors are unsure what the effect the removal would have on the body's biochemistry. He said the experimental nature of the procedure means it is highly risky and it could also impact on basic bodily functions such as Vinny's ability to urinate. This procedure has not been done yet, and it is totally new territory. This would be a brand new procedure, and if something happens or there are complications, we don't have any idea of how to address it. Well, you don't say, hello, pee-pee. That's how you don't address it. After the sexual organ...
Why is he assuming, okay, you don't need sexual organs to urinate. If you just lop it off, corkscrew a little out, and have a mangina, you're going to look like a genderless alien, really.
Oh, he doesn't want it, though.
Doesn't want what? There's nothing there.
He's talking about taking the entire thing out.
But
removing the plumbing.
You can't do that. That I understand. Science prevails in logic this time, Tim.
Right. But he's saying take it out.
Well, you know what? For $60,000, I'm willing to try it for him.
Well, he's already spent $60,000.
Right. So that means he's probably got more, and this is going to be a pricey one. I've got one of those garden weasels.
Oh.
I could just try to. I could try to take care of that myself.
Ow.
I'm willing to do it in the name of science, Tim, and $60,000.
The quote from the doctor is also the sexual organ is also a tool to urinate. There are muscles that hold the urethra and prevents not only the urine flowing out, but also the bacteria going back up. Think about that for a second. My main problem with this procedure is that what he's going to think about in 10 or 15 years' time. Good point.
Right.
He may want to be a genderless alien now, but he may want to be a normal human being in 10 to 15 years.
Or maybe not.
Or you're right, maybe not.
I'm guessing when you made this kind of commitment, you've thought it through. I mean, we're not talking about a tattoo of like Bob Barker on our ass where you're going to be like, "What, Grandpa, why
You've
do you
been
have
watching
that?"
me when I'm sleeping again?
Right, but I mean, that's something that you're like, dude, what the? That's a different kind of commitment than, and this person looks very alien in nature, the oddity, and it's its own beauty. I'm not putting it down. I'm not body shaming this alienish creature, but I don't know.
Because all the bridges are gone, there is no way to come back to female or male. It's a done deal, the doctor said, and he is young, and now he has to live with it until he's 80 or 90 years old. The wannabe extraterrestrial grew up in a small town in Oregon, where he says he never quite felt like he belonged. So far, Vinny has had 3 surgeries and 110 procedures to achieve his current look.
So let me get this straight. He's from Oregon, where he does not feel he belonged, and now he wants to remove his organ from where it belongs.
See?
Psychological? I'm like, I've been watching way too many episodes of Frasier. I can figure these people out like
tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
Like that. That's how
like
quick
that.
I can figure them out. Yeah. What the deuce?
He's had 2 rhinoplasties and 35 body and face laser treatments. A friggin' laser, Dave.
Friggin' laser. I've lasered his face. Well, good on him. You know what? Here's the deal. If that's how you feel special and important, and that's how you want to be perceived, who are we to say no? Who are we to care? You know what? I don't know. I mean, truthfully, I know I can't be alone in this. You watch all these movies, Tim. I find some of these aliens very attractive.
He can't take out his pee-pee, Dave. I'm sorry.
E.T.?
His pee-pee. He can't take out his pee-pee.
What? Well, that's not your worry, though, Tim. You worry about your own world.
He's going to die from bacteria.
Nobody stopped you when you slowly tried to craft your shape into that of Fred Flintstone. Leave this guy alone.
But that was easy.
Right, but nobody questioned it, Tim. They just let you be you. Let this guy be the Great Gazoo and be happy.
Huh. Interestingly enough, he has black contact lenses, so he's a black-eyed.
Well, that's how most aliens are seen,
genderless
right? Black eyes, yeah.
Alien with blue hair.
You date him anyway. Come on.
Not
just
really.
To say, put it on the old resume.
If he doesn't have genitals,
right? Exactly.
We don't have much to talk about.
Yeah. Well, there's other things to do, Tim. Let's wrap her up. We got another genital story. Boy, we can't wait for this one.
We
Does
have
it beat
another
the alien genitalless creature we just spoke about?
Well, it's beating something, Dave. That's
Okay.
for sure. Women. They're my favorite subject. They are. Here's the deal.
Right.
I got a little deal between me and you.
Right.
If you ever have a question about the hoo-ha, about the vajayjay, you can just email me.
You can.
You don't
Are you encouraging
have to,
photographs as well?
Well, if you need to, sure. Here's the deal. You don't
That's
ever
Tim
have
at
to.
darknessradio.com.
Right. You don't ever have to try something and then, trial by fire type of deal. Because this thing is going to get you in trouble.
Okay. What thing?
Doctors are warning women against putting wasp nests in their vagina.
Wait a minute. Please read that title to me again.
Doctors are warning women against putting wasp nests in their vaginas.
Okay, first question. Is this the Weekly World News that you're getting this from?
No. It's the Sun.
The Sun?
The Sun.
Okay.
Women are being warned against trying a bizarre new trend that suggests using a ground-up wasp nest to tighten and rejuvenate their vaginas. Now, ladies,
Wait a minute. Okay, I've often wondered who thought of making beer. I've thought of who thought
geniuses.
of grinding up extra unused meat portions, shoving them in a skin, and calling it a hot dog.
Geniuses.
I've wondered those things, but hoo-ha is the one that thought, that wasp's nest. I mean, I raided it. It's empty now. What can I do with it? I could turn it into a planter. I could make a nice, terrarium with it in there, maybe.
Yeah.
And I wonder what it'd be like to crush it up and put it in my vagina.
Ooh, well, I'll tell you this, Dave. Now having a hole in my foot, I don't put random things in there.
No?
Oh, sure, I could put a bunny in there and try to do magic tricks.
That would be something.
Oh, sure, I could turn it into a coin purse.
Sure.
But no, I don't put random things in there.
So where's the leap of looking under your deck and finding a hornet's nest and thinking, that seems to me the kind of thing that might rejuvenate my vagina.
Not a hornet's nest, Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wasp.
Wasp's nest.
Yeah.
Sorry. Well, then that makes more sense.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't, Tim. For the record, it does not.
Oh, well, it's a different species.
All right, go on. Doctors are warning not to put a wasp's nest in your vagina.
Yeah, don't grind them up. Don't put them in there, or don't put them in there and try to grind them up.
I don't believe that.
You know what I mean?
I don't even believe that doctors. This is something doctors have to tell you. I would think this is again common sense.
They do. Some online retailers have been selling oak galls, which are nests that house wasp eggs before they hatch, and touting them as a natural way of cleaning female genitals.
What?
Mm-hmm, yeah. The product reportedly is crushed into a paste and applied topically, with one listing on Etsy, which has now been removed, claiming it can improve a woman's sex life. They also have been advertised. I have an ad playing in the background here from Best Buy. Hold on just a second. There we go. Let's stop that for a second. There we go. The product is reportedly crushed into a paste and applied topically, with one listing on Etsy, which has now been removed, claiming it can improve a woman's sex life. They're being advertised as helping to heal episiotomy cuts, rejuvenating the uterine wall, and cleaning out the vagina after childbirth. Though there are warnings that it can burn when applied. Burn. Yeah. Now,
I don't even have a vagina, and I hurt down there right now.
I do too. I'm having sympathy pains right now.
My tingly bits are buzzing.
Yeah.
Oh God!
Not in a good way.
Why do you have to have? So I wonder if it's the creation of the wasp's nest itself, or is it the unhatched eggs when you blend it? That's actually the topical.
Well, here's the deal.
And now, who else? Was somebody out there so mad one day? They're like, this wasp's nest, and they just crushed it in their hands, and then they were like, oh, my hoo-ha itches, and they give it a little scratch, and they're like, hey, it tingles. I feel rejuvenated.
No. Here's
okay.
Here's how it works.
Okay.
gynecologist or gynecologist, because that's how I pronounce it, Jen Gunter, is warning women not to get sucked in by the new trend after branding it dangerous, saying the practice is using drying agents to tighten the vagina. That's what the wasp nest actually does. It uses drying agents. It could also wreak havoc with the good bacteria as well. It's a dangerous practice with real potential to harm. Here's a pro tip, by the way, from the doctors. Here's a pro tip, Dave. It's a little pro tip from me to the ladies right
a little
now.
Tip to the ladies?
A little tip to the ladies.
Okay.
Just the tip, Dave. Just the tip. If something burns when you apply it to the vagina, it's probably bad for your vagina.
Right. And gentlemen,
you're welcome.
If you ever apply a vagina to your penis and it begins to burn, that is also bad. Just fair warning from your experienced friends, Dave and Tim.
There you go. But it's not the first time the gynecologist has warned against using herbal remedies for the hoo-ha. Last year, she spoke out about the womb detox trend, which claimed to help women with endometriosis, ovarian cyst, thrush, and fibroids. Here it is.
Okay.
Bags of perfumed herbs known as herbal womb detox pearls were being promoted as a health boost, and women were being told to insert 3 of these balls into the vagina for 72 hours.
Okay. Herbal see, I could buy the idea of putting some herbs,
some herbal balls,
in there.
Yep.
A crushed wasp's nest, not so much. A paste of wasp nest and undeveloped wasp eggs. That doesn't make sense to me.
I think getting three balls in there is pretty bold. 2 balls is enough. I mean,
wow. It's hard to get balls in there, Tim.
It really is. I mean, unless you're
stop. We've gone too far.
Pounding away. Gunter explained leaving a product that is not...
Found a way to go even further.
Leaving a product that is not designed for prolonged vaginal use, and these are not, by the way, in the vagina, is a risk for toxic shock syndrome. So just don't do it. That's what Gunter says. That's what Tim says as well.
I would be shocked as well if I find out you've got a bunch of herbs and spices. What is it, like KFC up there?
I do, yeah. I actually have the Colonel's secret recipe in a small herbal bag ready for you.
Brewing?
If you email me,
yeah. Mangina?
Yeah,
all
I
right.
do.
Oh, for God's sakes. Well, that's it, folks. We'll be back with new episodes this week and more Parashare and Supernatural news that hopefully will not involve vaginas next week. At least I'm speaking for myself here. Maybe Tim has different plans. But that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Be kind. Love one another. We'll be back tomorrow with more Beyond the Darkness.